had been stationed on Veora 9 for 6 months when I first saw her. The planet wasn't meant for humans. Not really. The air was thin, tinged with minerals that left a metallic taste in the mouth, and the purple skies gave a strange dissonance to the horizon. But the mining companies didn't care. Veora 9's crust was rich in palladium and rare crystalline structures useful for quantum cores. They sent soldiers like me to keep order, while drones and machines tore up the world's skin. Most of the time our enemies weren't rebels or terrorists but the native inhabitants themselves, the Veorians. They weren't warlike. They were tall, silver-skinned beings with glowing eyes like molten gold. But they hated what humanity was doing to their world. Who wouldn't? The corporate council called them obstacles. Called them people. The first time I saw her was near the perimeter of Site 23. A faint shimmer in the dusk caught my eye, like the heat mirage back on Earth. When it resolved into a shape, I froze. She stood there, tall and graceful, armor of some strange organic material wrapped around her body. Her golden eyes were locked on me. I raised my rifle, heart pounding, but something in me hesitated. She didn't move. She just stared. Then, in a voice that rang clear in my head though her lips barely parted, she said, "Stay away." The words vibrated in my skull, not my ears. I staggered back. She turned and disappeared into the haze. That should have been the end of it. But she kept coming back. Always at the edge of the perimeter. Always watching. And always the same warning. Stay away. I didn't report her. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't want my squad to put a bullet in her. Maybe because something about her felt different. Weeks passed, and her presence became a ghost in my days. When the drills screamed into the soil and the sky choked with dust, I'd find myself glancing toward the ridges, half expecting her figure standing there. Then one night she came to me. Middle. The camp was silent, except for the hum of the energy barrier. My squad was asleep, but I couldn't. The dreams had been restless. Images of gold eyes and a voice echoing, "Stay away." When I stepped outside my tent, she was there. Not at the perimeter this time, but inside. Froze. She had breached the barrier somehow, standing only a few paces from me. Her armor shimmered faintly with its own light, and in her hand was a blade curved like liquid metal. I thought she'd come to kill me. My hand went for my weapon, but she raised her other hand. "Do not fear." Her voice in my head again, but softer. Closer. "I told you to stay away," she continued, her eyes searching mine. "But you have not. You linger here longer than the others. You do not strike at me when you could. Why?" I swallowed, unsure what to say. "I don't want to hurt you." That made her tilt her head, almost confused. "Yet you wear their armor. You guard their machines. You let them wound my world." Her words cut sharper than her blade. She wasn't wrong. My paychecks came from the same companies that stripped her planet bare. My orders were to protect the drills and miners, not her people. But I couldn't answer her accusation. Finally I said, "Because I don't believe you're the enemy." She studied me in silence for a long moment. Then she stepped closer. The glow of her armor reflected off my skin. She smelled faintly of ozone and wild herbs. "My name is Silyara," she said at last. "And you are different from the others." That was the night everything changed. She started visiting me in secret, always under the cover of darkness, always when the others slept. Sometimes she asked questions about Earth, about human life, about why we always hungered for more. Sometimes she told me about her people, about how the land itself was sacred to them, how the glowing crystal veins under the surface were not just resources but lifelines, channels of energy that sustained the balance of Veora 9. They bleed my world, she whispered once, placing her hand against the ground. Every shard they take is a wound that does not close. Her voice ached with grief. I listened. And the more I listened, the harder it became to return to my duties in the morning. The drill's screech sounded like screams. The dust storms looked like the planet itself was weeping. But it wasn't just her words. It was her. The way she looked at me, as though she could see deeper than flesh and uniform, down to something raw and unguarded. I found myself longing for her presence, waiting for the nights when she came. And slowly she let down her walls. The first time she laughed, it was like chimes in the wind. The first time she touched my hand, the air seemed to crackle. Yet there was always a shadow in her eyes, a barrier she would not let me cross. One night I asked, "Why did you tell me to stay away?" Her smile faded. "Because any bond between us is dangerous," she said. "For you, and for me. My people would not forgive it. Yours would kill me if they knew. Then why keep coming back?" Pressed. Her eyes softened and she whispered, "Because something stronger than fear calls me to you." That confession burned into me. But it also lit the fuse of everything that followed. The company escalated operations. Bigger drills. Explosive charges to reach deeper veins. And with it, the resistance of the Vaorians grew. Clashes broke out. Patrols reported ambushes. My squad lost men. I knew Silyara was part of it. She never said so, but the haunted look in her eyes told me enough. One night, she arrived not calm, not serene, but desperate. "They will strike tomorrow," she said. "At dawn. The great machines, your people call them harvesters. We will not allow them to dig into the heart." "The heart?" Yes. She nodded. "The crystal core beneath this land. If they rupture it, the balance will collapse. The skies will die, the rivers will vanish, and my people with them." She grabbed my arms, golden eyes blazing. "You must not be there. Please. I do not want your blood on my hands." The weight of her touch, the urgency in her voice. It was more real than any order I'd ever received. "I can't abandon my squad," I whispered. "And I cannot abandon my world," she replied. That was the night we both knew something would break. Ending. Dawn came with fire. The Vaorians struck as promised, descending from the ridges with weapons of living metal. Our alarms blared, rifles lit the air, and the harvesters roared to life. Chaos erupted. I fought, but my heart wasn't in it. Every time I pulled the trigger, I prayed it wasn't her on the other end. Then the ground itself split. A shockwave tore through the site as the largest harvester drilled too deep. A column of blinding light surged upward, hurling men and machines like toys. The heart had been breached. In the maelstrom I saw her, Silyara, fighting like a storm given form. Her blade shimmered, cutting through drones and soldiers alike. Then she saw me. For a moment time froze. Dust and light swirled around us, screams fading into silence. She looked at me with sorrow. "This is the end," she said in my mind. "No," I shouted, though my voice drowned in the chaos. "Come with me. We can leave this place." Her eyes softened with something like love. But she shook her head. "My world still breathes. If I leave, it dies. If I stay, perhaps it can heal."